Taylor Swift mourns 3 fans fatally attacked at her party.
We've had a series of very violent, scary things happen to the tour.
Welcome to PopPlug.
Let's get plugged in.
Because today's story is one of the most emotional, heartbreaking, and human moments we've ever seen from one of the biggest stars on the planet. This isn't about chart records or stadium crowds. This is about grief, fear, responsibility, and a woman carrying the weight of millions of fans while trying not to break under it. Taylor Swift is mourning the loss of 3 young fans who were brutally killed at a Taylor Swift-themed dance party. And for the first time, we're seeing just how deeply these tragedies have shaken her. When news first broke, it felt unreal. A Taylor Swift-themed dance and yoga class in Southport, England, meant to be a safe, joyful space for children who loved her music, turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. A stabbing attack left 3 young girls dead and others injured. Parents dropped their kids off expecting laughter, music, and fun. Instead, lives were shattered forever. The shock rippled far beyond that small community. Fans across the world froze, asking the same question. How could something so dark touch something so innocent?
There was this horrible attack in Liverpool at a Taylor Swift-themed dance party. And it was little kids that...
As reports came in, reality hit harder. This wasn't a concert venue. This wasn't a massive stadium. This was a small gathering inspired by Taylor's music, her image, her world. And that detail alone made the tragedy feel even heavier. For fans, it felt personal. For Taylor, it was devastating. According to those close to her, she was inconsolable when she learned what had happened. This wasn't just news. These were her fans, children, lives cut short in a space built around joy. In her new Disney Plus Docuseries, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, The End of an Era, we finally see what the public never saw in real time. Taylor breaks down in tears backstage, struggling to process not just one, but multiple violent threats tied to her tour and her fan base. While still mourning the Southport stabbing, she was also reeling from the Vienna terror plot that forced her to cancel 3 shows in August 2024. Authorities later revealed the plot, aimed to kill tens of thousands of people. The CIA described it as a potential massacre. That word alone says everything. In the docuseries, Taylor admits she felt like she was skating on thin ice. After more than 120 shows, after years of touring, this was the first time she truly felt unsafe, not for herself, but for her fans. She talks about being afraid that something could happen at any moment. That fear stayed with her. It followed her into hotel rooms, into rehearsals, into moments where she was supposed to be excited. And yet, she still had to go on stage and smile.
I've been performing for, 20 years. From a mental standpoint, being afraid something's gonna happen to your fans at any moment, this is a new challenge.
One of the most haunting moments comes when Taylor talks about the Southport attack directly. Her voice cracks. She struggles to explain it. She says it's hard to even put into words because it involved children, fans who just wanted to dance to her songs. That's when the mask slips. This isn't Taylor Swift, the global icon. This is a human being overwhelmed by grief and guilt she shouldn't have to carry, but does anyway. Despite the pain, Taylor made a choice. Before her London shows at Wembley Stadium, she privately met with survivors and families of the victims. No cameras, no press, just quiet moments of connection. And after one of those meetings, already dressed in her stage costume, she broke down alone in her dressing room. Her mother, Andrea, gently comforted her, reminding her that helping doesn't always feel like enough, but it still matters. That moment says everything about who Taylor is when the lights are off.
I'm gonna, meet some of these families tonight and put on a pop concert,
And then, minutes later, she walked on stage and performed for 3.5 hours. Not because it was easy, but because she felt a responsibility to give fans a sense of escape. She described it as feeling like a pilot flying a plane through turbulence. She couldn't let her fear show. She couldn't let her pain spill into the crowd. Because when you're the leader of something that big, people feel everything you feel. Taylor has spoken openly about how traumatized she was during this period. She said being afraid for her fans is a completely new challenge, even after 20 years in the industry. She had to learn how to manage those emotions, push them aside temporarily, and still deliver joy. It's an emotional balancing act that very few people on earth could understand. Through all of this, one constant source of strength was Travis Kelce, and the documentary gives us a rare, intimate glimpse into just how much that support meant to her. After her first show, back in London, when the fear, adrenaline, and emotion were finally starting to settle, we hear their phone call, and the shift in Taylor's voice is impossible to miss. She sounds lighter, relieved, almost surprised by her own happiness after everything she's been carrying. She tells him she's so happy, like she needs to say it out loud to believe it herself, and without missing a beat, Travis tells her he can hear it in her voice.
I want to be here.
I want to be there.
Why do you have to be in the NFL?
I love you so much, baby.
I love you so much. Like, some people get a vitamin drip. I got this conversation.
It's a small moment, but it's incredibly powerful. In that call, there's no superstar energy, no stadium roar, no public persona. It's just two people grounding each other. Travis isn't trying to fix the situation or offer big speeches. He's simply present, listening, steady, letting her exhale after weeks of holding her breath. After fear, grief, and exhaustion pushed her to the edge, that calm reassurance becomes a lifeline. For Taylor, that phone call wasn't just a check-in, it was proof that she wasn't alone in carrying everything that had happened. And sometimes that quiet presence is the thing that makes it possible to step back on stage, to keep moving forward when everything else feels too heavy to hold. Fans also came together in a powerful way. Vigils were held. Messages flooded social media. Bracelets, letters, flowers, and fans honored the three girls whose lives were lost. Instead of fear dividing the community, it united it. People reminded each other why they fell in love with music in the first place. Why does it matter? Why connection matters. This moment inevitably draws comparisons to another tragedy that changed pop culture forever: the 2017 Manchester Arena bombing after Ariana Grande's concert. Just moments after Ariana finished her set, a suicide bomber killed 22 people and injured over 100. Ariana was shattered. She tweeted that she was so sorry and had no words. 11 days later, she returned to Manchester, visited victims, and held the One Love Manchester benefit concert. That moment redefined strength.
It was 10:30 p.m. on May 22nd. Ariana Grande had just finished her sold-out concert for 20,000 at Manchester Arena when an explosion rocked the stadium.
Taylor's experience echoes that same painful reality. Pop stars become symbols of joy, but when violence enters their orbit, they absorb an enormous emotional burden. Ariana carried it. Taylor is carrying it now. And like Ariana, Taylor chose not to disappear. She chose to show up, to mourn, to support families, to keep performing not because she had to, but because she believed music could still heal. In interviews around the documentary premiere, Taylor described the Eras Tour as a lifetime within my life. It wasn't just performances, it was a lesson. Fear, growth, trauma, relief. She admitted that after everything, she worried she might forget how to sing or play guitar. That fear sounds small, but it reveals how deeply shaken she truly was. The docuseries also shows how Taylor copes when the day finally ends. Long baths, room service, TV binges, quiet moments at 4 a.m. It's not glamorous. It's survival. It's how someone processes the weight of being responsible for joy in a world that keeps proving how fragile joy can be. Through it all, Taylor never centered herself as the victim. She centered the fans, the families, the children who never made it home. She supported the affected families privately and financially, making sure they didn't feel alone in the aftermath. That's leadership. That's compassion without cameras. This is why Taylor Swift isn't just a pop star. She's a leader, a symbol of resilience, someone who gets knocked down emotionally and still finds a way to stand back up, not stronger because of the pain, but determined not to let it destroy what she loves. Right now, Taylor and her fans are in our thoughts. The grief hasn't vanished. Trauma doesn't disappear just because the tour continues. But what we're seeing is a woman choosing light in the face of darkness, choosing connection over fear, choosing to keep going. And she will come out of this stronger, not because she's untouched, but because she allowed herself to feel everything and still move forward. Follow PopPlug to stay plugged in.